Hello, Ray.
What's up, sexy? How are you?
Bringing sexy back.
Good to see you, Mike.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. We talked a little bit, Ray, before we start to. We have a packed show, so
Yeah.
we'll try to keep it moving as fast as we can. And I wanted to you'll see. We're going to bring Brian and Jeff in. I shared the link real quick. I know Jeff's backstage. If he hears that, if he can just do what he has to do on his end. And what do we got, Ray?
Let me introduce a friend of mine, Brian Edward Johnson, who's a good buddy of mine. And Brian just started a brand new brand of clothing. It's motorcycle themed, but you don't have to have a motorcycle or even like a motorcycle to appreciate what he's trying to do with the brand. So just wanted to congratulate you, Brian, on the brand. And if you don't mind, there it is, 6 Gears to Life. 6 Gears, One Life. I apologize. 6 Gears, One Life. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you. You know, it was a toss-up. I thought my very first podcast was either going to be Joe Rogan's or yours. So I took one, ended up here. So
that's his loss.
Yeah. We're honored because we're not on Spotify yet, but we're also not banned from Spotify. So maybe we're doing
good. Actually, we are on Spotify, Ray, and we're not banned.
News to me. Okay. Get to know your show, I guess.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Ray, you should watch the show once in a while.
I probably should. Brian, tell us about this brand you created.
So the brand, as you said, Ray, is a motorcycle-themed apparel line. It's really been a passion of mine. I love fashion. I love the creative process. And it's a brand, you know, life is too short to keep sort of sitting with passions of yours and saying another year, another day, another time. So it was really time for me, especially after the new year, to really get moving with it. The brand is inspirational, motivational, humorous. And of course, because it's motorcycle themed, it would certainly fit more with people who have motorcycles or have an affinity for them. But ultimately, anyone would appreciate sort of the humor and the motivational aspects of the designs. The designs are made by me, and they're all printed in the United States, which was super important to me. All of the materials are super high-end cotton, premium quality. The hoodies are 10-ounce hoodies, so they're a little bit heavier, nicer in the chilly weather. Fleece-lined hoods, double fleece-lined hoods. And, you know, I stand behind everything that, obviously, everything I design and make, I wear myself. So I'm very passionate and very happy with the way that the brand has started to come about. I did create a code for the show. I appreciate you guys having me on. I appreciate the listeners. I made sure to put Mike's name first. Mike Ray, it's 10% off the entire collection tonight for any of your listeners, plus free shipping for any purchase over $50. I would really appreciate the love and support, and it goes a long way. I'm from Nassau County, grew up there, and New York, born and bred, and you know, I listen to you guys all the time. So
well, Brian, thank you so much for joining us. I can tell you, as you know, I'm not exactly known for my fashion taste, but what I appreciate about your brand, I have a couple of your hoodies, and they are, Mike, they are extremely comfortable, very, very comfortable. Nothing better to wear. I mean, this is just amazing stuff to wear, and I love the hoodies. I love how comfortable I feel in them. So, and the fact that they are you know, pretty jazzy, I like as well. So congratulations, Brian. And, you know, let me also, I was going to mention it to Mike later on, but I have one of these for you as well, because you guys both have a common interest. And I just wanted to share this. I got you one of these, Brian. And
oh, right. Sure. Sure.
So there you go.
Thank you, Ray.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's not quite autographed, but I'm going to send this to you, and congratulations for your brand, Brian. And thank you for,
and Rock would love my brand. He may not know about it yet, but he will. The Rock would love my brand. Yeah.
I'm just honored that we actually got a coupon code. We have our own coupon code, Mike. I think we hit it big time.
I feel like My Pillow guy, Ray. I feel like Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, Brian, we got to bounce, but thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And you know, please give us an update aside from all the joking around. Obviously, Brian and I know each other a little bit, so you know, we want to support our local businesses, and this is a local business, brand new brand, and you know, we'll check in with you once a month or so, see how you're doing.
Appreciate it. The support means the world to me. Thank you to you both, and please visit the site 6 Gears, One Life, all spelled out, and I'll be shipping out your orders personally. So I look forward to, hopefully the website crashes tonight from all the traffic.
Yes, I'm going to go there after the show. I'm going to order a nice hoodie.
Thank you.
Do you have my size? Do you have the larger sizes for the bigger people?
2XL.
What's that?
We have up to 2XL.
Okay, that'll work.
Although you don't look a size over large, Mike.
Oh, there we go. Flattery gets everywhere. Thanks, Brian. Good talking to you.
Brian, we'll see you. Take care.
So Brian's a good friend of mine. Mike, I want to take the time now to introduce our next guest. Jeff Gold has been doing some tremendous work for years and years. He's probably the preeminent expert in Nassau County. I'm not sure that he would accept that compliment, but he's probably the preeminent expert on tax assessment in Nassau County. He does tremendous work. He does it for free, and he happens to be a friend of mine. So let's bring in Jeff.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Jeff. Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a long time, right?
It's been a while. So I was just sharing with the audience that I think you're considered to be pretty much the preeminent expert on assessment when it comes to Nassau County taxes. And, you know, we'll give a plug to your group. Jeff has a group that's on Facebook. Anybody can join. And you can find it on Facebook. It's Nassau Grieve Your Tax Assessment -free. And so long as you stick to the group rules and you're looking to save money on your taxes, you can join Jeff's group and listen to his expert guidance on how you can grieve your taxes for free, which is a real service. So welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thanks, Ray. I really appreciate the invite. And, well, we got a whopping 17 people looking at us right now, huh?
Yeah, we get a bunch of views after. I'm not sure what to make of the numbers. We try to figure out what they mean, but I don't know how the numbers work exactly.
Yeah.
But
see,
well, I mean, my group's got 33,000 members, so you would hope we would get a few more coming in.
Yeah.
I did post it, and it's running live in the group, so let's see how that goes.
Okay.
A lot of people did say they can't watch it tonight; they'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's good. So, Jeff, listen, I'm dying to talk to you. It's been a while since we've spoken. You know, assessment, we have to assume that the people watching the show have some baseline knowledge about what assessment is, and certainly people know what their property taxes look like in Nassau County. And you know, on the one hand, we have relatively high taxes, but we also have great schools. So there's a little bit of a trade-off there. I mean, you have to expect to pay high taxes if you want great schools. The previous county executive, Laura Curran, started the process by which she was going to reassess all the property in Nassau County. And as we all know, that was used pretty much against her in the last election, and now she's out. So how do you see the change in administration? What does that mean in terms of tax assessment?
Well, you know, it's really tough to predict how it's going to go. I think the initial reassessment did the right thing. It brought values much closer to where they were supposed to be. But what happened is you had all these grievance companies, and I actually will file grievances for a fee as well. If someone wants to hire me, they can do that. So I can't say anybody's at fault, but the grievance firms overwhelmed the system again, just like they did before. And in order to avoid giving refunds, which they were responsible for, the Assessment Review Commission continued to hand out reductions as if they were giving out samples at Costco. And it was just, you know, no rhyme or reason to it. People were getting reductions that they didn't deserve. My clients were getting reductions that they didn't deserve. So we stopped predicting whether people were going to get reductions. We just don't know. I mean, you know, I saw a house today, a guy paid $765,000 for it in 2018. It's worth every bit of $900,000 today. He got a reduction from.
I think Jeff froze up there, Ray.
I was waiting to see what the number was. He got a reduction, and we left the number. So hopefully,
it's like a suspense episode. We're waiting to hear. Maybe he'll come back.
We should play the game. Guess how much he got off.
I'll say 4,000.
All right, I was going to say 6.
You're going to say 6? I will.
I'm going to say 6.
When he comes back, Jeff, if you can hear us, you're frozen. I thought maybe he was going to wait for the end of the Maybe he's just very still. Does he ever just like freeze like that?
No, definitely not. But I'll tell you that, the work that Jeff does is tremendous because everyone knows that you can go hire an attorney to do it. And you can hire Jeff to do it as well if you don't want to make any effort. But he will guide you through the whole process. And he doesn't use, the opaqueness of the system to his
Where did we leave off?
How much was the savings, Jeff, for that client of yours?
Oh, I mean, that client, the assistant probably saved about, $1,000.
Oh, Mike had it at 4, I had it at 6. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, look, we see a lot of that. We just don't know what the Assessment Review Commission is going to do this year. Now, I will tell you that Bruce Blakeman appointed Stephen Bucaria as the new chairperson of ARC. And I used to enjoy appearing before Judge Bucaria in commercial cases. He would do his homework. He understood the case. He didn't accept, BS. Guy is a veteran. Just, you could go in and the fact that he swore Mangano into office and was a big Republican donor and, participant, you'd overlook that because he was a good judge. But over the course of both the Swazi administration and the current administration, the guy issued decisions that I just didn't agree with. When I was on the Board of Assessors, I was named in some of those cases. And I found him to be basically the grievance firm's best friends when he held the county to how he viewed, and I believe he had a basis for his views, how he viewed the codes and the requirements and the rules of assessment. But he's the guy who allowed a class action to proceed. He gave $300,000 in legal fees to the attorneys who got an agreement that the reassessment would be open. He's allowed cases to be restored to the docket when the plaintiffs, the taxpayers' attorneys sat on the cases for 8 years. So he would still allow the case to go to the back on the docket 8 years later, even if they didn't comply with the production requirements. I just found him to be almost sabotaging the county in his decisions. And now he's the head of the Assessment Review Commission, setting their policy. I don't know how he's going to live within the guidelines of the cases that he set. And it's going to be interesting to watch because he's an honest guy. I think he's going to try hard, but I just don't know if he can do it. And I'm telling you right now, Ray, if they don't treat families that file their own grievances in the same way that they treat the larger grievance firms next year, I'm going to be the first one to file a suit against the Assessment Review Commission of the county. Because if you file your own grievance, you do a good job, you should have every bit as good a chance of getting a reduction as if you hire one of the larger grievance firms.
Now, Jeff, let me ask you a question, because this is a little bit of confusion. I've been meaning to ask you this for a long time. With the previous county executive, Laura Curran, having started the process of reassessment, if you came out, I mean, does the average person still need to grieve their taxes at this point? If we got a fair valuation of our house, do we still need to grieve? Should we still?
Yeah, you're an idiot if you don't file a grievance this year.
That's what I wanted to find out.
Yeah. No, there's no excuse not to file a grievance because look, the value of your house is one thing. Under the Mangano administration, your house could have been assessed at $350, and you didn't file a grievance because, wow, your house is worth $600, so you didn't file that grievance. Right. But that was only one component. There's a multiplier that goes against your assessed value. It's called the level of assessment. And we don't know what level of assessment ARC is going to use. But what under the Mangano administration, they were multiplying by 0.60. So if you had a $500,000 house and you were assessed at $300,000, that was a fair assessment. But if you had a $500,000 house and you were assessed at $400,000, that was a high assessment. So if you were $400,000 and you filed a grievance, you could be brought down as low as $300,000. It's a big savings. We don't know what level of assessment ARC is going to use this year. They haven't announced it. It's why the Democrats in the county legislature have demanded that, or I don't think they can demand anything. They requested that Bruce Blakeman extend the deadline from May 1 to sometime later. They asked from March 1 to May 1. They've right now you have to file by March 1 at 11:59 p.m. So you got less than a month to go unless he extends it, and he hasn't said he's going to yet. And so far, ARC hasn't provided any indication, as far as I know, as to what the level of assessment is. I can tell you that I'm seeing people routinely reduced by ARC to 15 to 20% less than they purchased their home for in 2021 and 2020.
Wow.
So if you purchased a $600,000 home in 2020 and you're assessed at 600, you'd think that's good, right? Right?
Yep.
No, you're not. People who bought their $600,000 home in 2020 should be assessed at 540 or lower.
Yeah, that exactly, I think, is the confusion for the new. And we've got a lot of people who've moved into, if the numbers are right, and we have somebody coming on in a few minutes to talk about this, but we've had a lot of people move into Nassau County from the city and elsewhere during COVID who may not be familiar with the details, but you assume that your purchase price is a fair valuation, but given the level of assessment, you may be wrong. Now, Jeff, if they don't extend the deadline, what is the deadline again for people to file?
The deadline is March 1 at 11:59 p.m.
So you're right, less than a month away. So 3 weeks.
Less than a month away.
Wow.
Got a lot of work to do this month.
Yeah, unbelievable. Now, somebody who's filing their grievance now, let's say somebody buys a house and they're unhappy with their taxes. If they file a grievance now and everything goes according to expectation, what's the earliest that they can see some relief on their taxes if they were to file?
This year you're filing for 23-24.
Right.
That means you're filing for your October 23 school tax bill and your January 24 county town tax bill. So if you file now, you're not going to see any relief until then. But if you have a mortgage, you're not going to see relief till even later because your mortgage company has to reconcile escrow. And they only do that after they make the January 2024 payment.
Yeah, and that's something people should remember is that if you've been fortunate enough to receive a reduction, you need to follow up with your mortgage company and make sure that they adjust the escrow analysis or that they do the escrow analysis, right, Jeff?
Oh yeah, I just got a $50 refund for last year from my escrow company. I was very excited. But look, you get an escrow refund. It means that you've kept your taxes where they were, right. And that's a victory because school tax rates go up. The town tax rates go up. So if you've got yourself even a small assessment reduction, you can offset those increases. So the $50, refund that I got from my escrow company, I was pretty happy.
Yeah. What's the mix, Jeff, roughly between general taxes and school taxes? So the average person complains about how much they're paying in taxes on Long Island or in Nassau County.
Roughly 60 to 70% of your taxes are your school tax.
Right.
You go to My Nassau Property and you can see mynassauproperty.com and you can see a complete breakdown. And it's just terrible. You see, look, we have great schools. I live in the Belmore district. We had 6 semifinalists, I think, for Regeneron. We have great schools. My kids got into terrific colleges, one with a full ride, based in large part, on hard work plus good school systems. So I don't begrudge the school system a nickel, and I haven't voted against a budget ever. But I think it's a fact that people need to understand that your school tax is going up every year. And if you don't do the effort and get a reduction in assessment, then you're going to pay more taxes next year. There's just no way around it. And, what people don't understand, and we try to tell them this, we had a lot of people in Wantagh whining about this 2 years ago because they saw their school tax rates go up by 9%. Well, remember, school tax is a zero-sum game. If you take value out of my house and I pay a lower assessed value, I pay taxes on a lower assessed value. School districts still need to raise the same amount of money. So what do? You take value out. They have to raise the school tax rate. So because so many people in Wantagh, Massapequa, Levittown, Belmore were grieving their assessment and getting reductions, that took huge swaths of value out of the school districts. And as a result, the rates had to go up 8-10% in some of these districts. People were crying. And I was at the legislature when they held a seminar, and one man goes up and he's in tears. My school tax went up 9%. How is that possible? And Rich Nicolella looked him in the eye and said, well, I don't know. And I stood up and I said, I can tell him, you sit down. It's really simple. The assessment system under Mangano failed so badly that it pushed up school tax rates 9% in some districts. And you know what, Ray? We're about to do it again. It's broken.
Hey, Mike, can we put a couple of comments on, or are we having issues with comments? I see
the comments aren't coming through. I just
no problem. I see a question from a friend of ours, Jeff, that we both know, Frank, good guy. He goes, "Hi, Jeff. The house next door to mine sold for $399,000. How many comps do we need to send into the county for assessment reduction? So how much do you have to provide when you're doing the assessment yourself?"
Well, you know what? We tell people use as many as you can find. $399 sounds like a really low price for your neighborhood, Frank. Was there something wrong? Was there something wrong with the house? But when we do grievances for people, if we can find 10 good comparables, we use 10 good comparables.
Yeah.
I teach people in my group, you use as many as you have that are good. But remember, a good comparable isn't necessarily one that sells for less than yours anymore. If you have a $400,000 house and you find a $420,000 comparable that has sold for $420,000, that's a good comparable because ARC is using a different level of assessment.
Jeff, he said it was a foreclosure. So
yeah, you can't use it at all.
Yeah, right. So nothing,
Yeah. Foreclosures are not good comparables. It has to be an arm's length sale. Can't be a bank sale. Can't be a short sale. So sorry, Frank, you can't use it.
I want to echo something you said a little while ago, and you emphasized it, Jeff, and I'll repeat your words, but you'd have to be an idiot not to file a grievance this year.
Yes.
And we have less than a month to go, and I don't know what the weather looks like, Mike, if there's going to be any more snow. I think there's something cooking for tomorrow night, but you got these weekends where there's nothing else going on besides Netflix and the snow and the weather. Good time to file your grievance if you're going to do it on your own. But if somebody doesn't want to do it on their own, Jeff, they're busy, they're not sure, you do that for them, right? And if you can just mention how they can reach you if they want you to help them out.
I think he froze again.
Jeff does. I'll fill in while Jeff gets back on. But if you don't want to take the time to do it on your own,
okay, I'm back. You back?
Yeah, Jeff. If somebody wanted to file a grievance but they don't want to do it on their own, how can they get in contact with you for you to help them out?
Well, the easiest way to get in touch with me is just to call the office. It's 516-512-6333. I have 4 paralegals taking phone calls all day. Sometimes they get backed up. You get backed up, you can send me a message through Facebook or through the group, and I'll get in touch with you and we'll get you set up. We charge a flat rate of $250. I initially started doing a flat rate of $250 because I thought it would deter people from signing up and they would do it themselves. But no, it's actually become quite a popular option. We've had very good success for clients. We have good success for clients who, when we're filing the grievance, we don't think they have a chance, but the county's so screwed up, they get reductions.
Now, Jeff, we know based on what you said that you file a grievance. We file a grievance on ourselves. We do it with you. It's going to take a while for it to manifest in our taxes. But how quickly do we get a response from the county? How do we know how quickly do we know that we actually got some?
Well, the county is pretty backed up, and they've been taking between 6 and 10 months, 11 months now.
Okay. But it seems like a pretty good investment. If you don't want to do it on your own, for a flat fee of $250, Jeff's firm can help you do it.
Ray, I've spent 20 years at this point teaching people how to do it themselves. I'm really happy to share that knowledge or let people do it on their own. I don't need their money. I don't, not that I don't want the money. My wife likes it. It's certainly better than being poked in the eye with a sharp stick. But in all seriousness, I give you everything in the group. I give you step by step. You've been there. You got step-by-step instructions on how to file. It's so simple. And you shouldn't theoretically have a better chance on your own or through an attorney if you file a good grievance. I know my office, when we handle it, we file good grievances, but I teach people how to file good grievances.
Hey, Jeff, in your Facebook picture there of your group, you're standing in front of a bunch of people. Is that how you teach? Do you do it in a format, like an auditorium?
That was a pre-COVID meeting in that one was in Plainview. They have a terrific auditorium up there in the library, and it was sponsored by Arnie Drucker. But that's when you could do it live.
Okay.
There's some controversy about whether these legislatures, and I heard this, maybe you have too, Ray. The legislators are afraid that I am too partisan, too bad, and that I also have that I'm a law firm, that I do this for profit. I do, but when they ask me to come in and speak to their groups, and and Carrier Lodges will tell you this, that I've spent many a Saturday in his office helping elderly seniors, and my son Doug has done this as well, and my assistant Leanna from my office, and we sit there all day and we help the seniors who can't file otherwise, for free. We want people to file. What happens is when you go to see ARC, you see all these legislators say, "Oh, we have so and so from ARC coming to speak." You've seen that. Flavin has ARC come. Rhodes has ARC come. Well, the ARC people are under really strict requirements not to talk about the level of assessment. They will show you how to file a grievance using the county website, but they aren't supposed to discuss the standards by which you should file the grievance. Their answer is it doesn't hurt, anyone can file. But they don't explain to you if you're assessed for $450 and your house is worth $500,000 that you might be over-assessed. So they don't tell you the full picture.
Right.
And people need to understand that if you don't file a grievance and succeed, the system is geared so you pay more taxes next year. That's a guarantee. You don't file, you don't get a reduction, you're going to pay more in taxes next year than you otherwise would have.
That's pretty much it in a nutshell, I would say, right?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. What's great about Jeff's group is that you don't have to be anything to be part of his group. I think the only requirement, as far as I remember, Jeff, is that you just subscribe to the rules, and that you're willing to do a little bit of homework and just read some of the questions. And you don't start by asking stupid questions, that you try to educate yourself on the process. But you could be a Democrat, you could be a Republican, you could be a Libertarian, you could be whatever you want to be part of this group.
I've helped some people who I understand marched against Washington on January 6th.
Right.
Really doesn't matter. I help everybody.
Even people from the
problem is this. You read the rules, and one of the rules is, I know many of you are not used to being helped by a Democrat, but you are, so get used to it. All right. And I've lost members over that. But you know what? I'm helping them for free, so I don't care. Okay? All I know is there isn't another Democrat in the county that can speak to 36,000 people on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Hell, there's not even a Republican who can speak to them. I think people are tuning Bruce Blakeman out already.
So, Jeff, in closing, and I want to thank you for your time tonight and really appreciate all the information. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? Is there anything that the average person should know that we may not know? Is there anything else that just like a little tidbit or something?
No, you know what? I'm just so disgusted with politics right now. I mean, last year we had John Ferretti and Steve Rhodes and the entire Republican legislature ganging up against David Moog, who did a really fine job setting the reassessment.
He did.
And then, they were all criticizing Robin Laverman, who is now the acting assessor. And all of a sudden they shut up. And they don't say a word because Bruce Blakeman's made her the acting assessor. But you know why? because her husband has donated $29,000 to Republican causes, including the town of Hempstead Republican Party and the Nassau County Republican Party over the last 10 years. And that doesn't even involve going into his corporations. It's just you follow the money, and the money leads you to bullshit. Sorry, right. I don't want to get kicked off the site.
No, but, that's fine.
You know, it's just, it is, these people in the legislature, they aren't fit to lick David Moog's shoes.
Right.
And they were so nasty and so critical. And now they've hired the queen of ineptitude to run this, the assessment. But that's because her husband's a donor.
Yeah. Well, you've given us a lot to think about tonight and going beyond. And I'll reiterate, I'll echo again Jeff's comments that the deadline is March 1st. And unless it's extended, but as of now, you have to operate like it's not going to be extended. So it's March 1st. And in Jeff's words, you'd be an idiot not to file a grievance. So take it to heart, people, anyone who's listening. And please join Jeff's group, which is, again, on Facebook, NASA Grieve Your Tax Assessment -free. Or if you don't want to do that, or if you want to just have Jeff do it, please reach out to his office, which is it Gold Bennis?
It's Gold Bennis.
Bennis, okay.
Yeah, 516-512-6333. It's posted as a comment on the page.
All right, well, look, I appreciate you guys having me on, and happy to do it again if you want.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jeff.
Great, thanks, guys.
Good night.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice seeing you.
Listen, that's Jeff Gold. Okay, so Jeff Gold is a very, very smart guy. He's very competent, and he's opinionated, and he'll share his opinion. And it's an honor for me to call him a friend. And I think everyone can get a preview of who Jeff is. But like he said, the bottom line of it is that it can be confusing, and those of us who don't deal with assessment on a daily basis don't know the nuances, which is why I joined the group and why I read the post on a daily basis so I can better educate myself. And I encourage everybody to do that, whether you're a Republican or Democrat or wherever you are.
Absolutely. No, he had a lot of good information there. And he's right with, you don't even think about that, right? What they hold in escrow, and you got the $50 back, and, no one expects that, but that was very interesting.
Well, we're hinting on it is that you're not going to get the instant gratification. Okay. Exactly. You're not going to get the I'm grieving my taxes, I'm going to save taxes next month. It's a drawn out process. We should have asked Jeff to mention the fact, but I'll say it. When you grieve the taxes, it basically follows the property, not the person. So even if you think you're selling or whatever, you're increasing the value of your property by lowering your taxes. And right. It is a very unfortunate game. And I'll use that word, but that is the game. And what Jeff has mastered is the nuances of this game. He didn't create it. He mastered the nuances of the game, which is why he is, the leading authority on tax grievance in Nassau County. It's not even my opinion. I think it's everyone's opinion. So thanks very much to Jeff.
Yes, it was very good. Thanks again, Jeff. The contact number's on there. Ray, our next guest, very interesting. You told me a little bit about him, and I did a little research, because I do very little research, and very, very impressive. So can we bring him on? Do you have anything?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's bring him on. Okay. Let's welcome Deepak. I'm sorry if I botched this name. I practiced it all day. Welcome, Deepak Hemrajani. Did I say that right, Deepak?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Absolutely.
Great.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Deepak. How are you?
Good. Hey, Mike. Hey, Ray. How you guys doing, man?
Good. How are you?
So, Mike, I'm another friend of mine who we're honored to have on the show tonight, and I thought it would be a good segue from Jeff to Deepak, because, we spoke with Jeff about property taxes, but What is the general state of real estate on Long Island? We want to find out. So Deepak has his own brokerage company.
This is everybody's question to me every single day. Like, what is going on in Long Island?
Yep.
Unfortunately, the news is not that good. What we're lacking is basically inventory, like most people know. Like everything that you have in life, supply and demand. Unfortunately, with the way the state we are in, it's been the worst inventory, especially on Long Island, that we've had in the last 27 years. And we just had some reports come in saying that we are in dire straits. If we really need this industry to be a success, we need to make sure we have sellers who are really looking to sell, and there's an abundance of buyers out there. So it's scary with the way the market is. It's everybody's being outbid on homes, and it's very unfortunate that there are a lot of buyers, especially I have a lot of agents that are working, and every day they come to me crying, saying that we are putting offers 40,000 over asking, 50,000 over asking, and they're losing, being outbid. So
Deepak, if you're a buyer, it could be frustrating because you see a lack of inventory. But if you're a seller, does that mean that you could expect that there's going to be there's going to be a lot of demand for your home if you're selling?
Absolutely. I mean, usually what happens is many sellers currently are really not looking to sell because they're waiting for the season. In the kind of market we are currently in, I think every day, any day is the right time to put your house on the market. And the good thing is that for every home that goes on the market, every seller has an opportunity of getting at least a minimum of 4 or 5 offers on their home. And the first offers that actually come in are already offers that are at asking or over with good down payments. So everything depends on the offer, the terms the buyers are bringing to the table. Sellers are dictating terms, saying, we don't want to close on a home in 45 days. Are you guys willing to wait for 90 days? Are you willing to wait till the weather gets better? It's all on their terms. Right. So that has been such an advantage for the homeowners. And the average price of a home on Long Island from 20 to 2021 has risen to $52,000. So we are thinking this year, right? We're thinking it's going to be like grand slam. The average home price increase could be up to over $100,000. It's unreal. It's never happened before.
Deepak, let's take a step back for a moment because we just dived into all these details. Tell us a little bit about you and your company. Tell us about DH Citadel.
DH Citadel, we are a boutique company. We are based in Plainview, and we are a full-fledged brokerage. We do a lot of commercial. We do a lot of residential. We do anything and everything that needs to be done. For us, being a boutique, we offer a lot of concierge service. So if we have homeowners that are looking to sell their home, we offer them concierge service. You want staging, we do staging. You want any kind of prep work, we have a team of people that come in and do prep work. If you want any updates done, because what happens is most homes that want to sell at a better price, you sometimes have to spend some money to do the updates. So we are basically in-house. We have mortgage services. So we are a one-stop shop. We offer all services to clients. Anyone who comes in, we have service from them, from inspectors to engineers to appraisers, mortgage people. So that's what we do. We offer all kinds of services to everyone, and we are centrally located. So it's easy access to the highways, to the parkways, especially for the agents. It was what we decided to have only because being in Plainview, if you want to go east, we're right by the LIE. You want to go west to New York City, we're right over there.
And that brings up the next question. You cover all of Long Island, but you also cover the city as well?
I do city, yes. Listen, city was a different animal when COVID hit in 2019. Right now, it's completely different. I mean, the prices are soaring rocket high. August of 2021 had the best retail sales New York City has ever seen. It bounced back almost after a year, and the prices are soaring. I mean, people who can buy are renting left, right, and center. So even the rental prices are out of control in New York City. You can get a condo. People are bidding for rents over there, rental condos.
So let me ask you this question, Deepak. People who are selling, I think I might know the answer, but people who are selling, are these people who are, because if you're selling your home, you might have some of the same issues as somebody who's buying your house, which is that there's a lack of inventory. So are people who are selling, that they generally move out of state? Is that what they're doing? Or
that's exactly what they're doing. They're downsizing, that they're taking as much as money as they can. And what they're doing is they're moving out from the metropolitan, and they're going to move into another rural area. They move out of state. They go to North Carolina. They go to Florida, And are they buying high? They're buying not as high as what they're selling in New York, plus the taxes that people pay living in New York. And I heard Jeff saying about, all the grievance situations. Everyone has that problem. The taxes in Nassau County are ridiculous, And because of that, people are going to be going to places where the taxes are 1/4. They can even move to Queens sometimes, you know.
I just want to ask you a quick question, Deepak. So I was talking to somebody and they were saying that, they want to sell their house, but there's something maybe in their house, maybe that's not, say, legal, like maybe they put a back room in or whatever it is. So is that something like when someone, an inspector can come and help them legalize that, or is that something that the person will just pay cash for?
Honestly, with the way the market is right now, it's unbelievable. Nobody cares. I mean, there are things that are happening that have never happened in this business. I mean, you have open permits, you have no COs. There could be fines, and people are still buying the homes. There could be things that show up on the title. There could be weirdest. I mean, it's ridiculous the things that show up sometime on title, and because of lack of inventory, buyers are buying. I have situations where garages are converted into living rooms.
Right.
And people are just, okay, we have no CO for this. Will you buy? Yes, we'll buy. The banks, I mean, the appraisers sometimes are so busy because of the way the market is. They're doing drive-throughs. They're not even making it into your house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Deepak, again, thank you for your time tonight. I have one last question: are you concerned at all? And I know this is probably, but you touch on mortgages. Are you concerned at all about rates do you think the market is just in such overdrive right now that doesn't matter?
No, the rates are going up. It's almost at 3.75 compared to what it was last year. I think buyers who are really looking to purchase a home, they should consider the rates. But again, there's so much of competition. People don't care. They're paying an extra point here, an extra point there. They just want to get into a home.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen, I want to thank you so much, Deepak, for being with us. And if anybody is interested in selling, I'll say on your behalf, interested in selling or buying a home, please find Deepak. It's DH Citadel.
Citadel.com. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, guys. Mike, Ray, thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepak.
All right, take care.
Take care. Have a good night. Yeah, it's crazy, right? The market. It seems like it's like what he said. The inventory is it's limited, so people are just buying it up.
Yeah, I thought it would be good to have Deepak on right after Jeff because there is a very strong demand, and in spite of our high taxes, people still want to come to Long Island, and those who are leaving for whatever reasons, and maybe your kids went to school and it's time to downsize, as Deepak said. But I love Long Island, you do, and people apparently love Long Island and are coming here, and there's a lack of inventory, which is probably frustrating for the brokers, but maybe it speaks to the resiliency of Long Island. So maybe that's a little bit of a silver lining. So
yeah, our comments aren't working. I apologize to everybody. For some reason, it catches up later on. But I want to know from every Long Islander, how many of them said they were moving after the snow while they were out there? The snow. I was one of them, but what are you gonna do?
Do we have Diane?
We have Diane, and we have Theresa. We have a packed show, so let's bring Diane real quick, right?
So okay. Let me just say this, Mike. Last week I had occasion. I reached out to Diane because I've been meaning to go to the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. We've been talking about it on the show any number of times, and I felt an obligation to go because I haven't been there before. And you can only see something. You can only really appreciate something when you see it. And I went there and I called Diane up, and she was gracious enough to join me. And let me tell everybody, I love Diane Madden because I love her heart and I love her conviction and her passion for the most vulnerable amongst us, which are our animals. And going there with her last Friday was it was a little depressing, but I'm so happy that she was with me. So let's bring her on.
Hi, Diane.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Ray. That was just such a beautiful testimony. I appreciate it. And
Diane, that testimony that he just gave, the intro, I just wanted to play the newlywed. I figured what the theme to bring you in, but I have to say, Diane, I love your posts. Every post that you have is all about the animals, and everything you say is spot on. So,
well, thank you so much, Michael. And I tell you, I enjoy this show every single week. I wanted to just keep listening to the last guest because I love when Jeff said follow the money. It's that simple. No matter what you're talking about, relative to politics, it's important to know what's behind it and what is driving. Even Don Clavin today had a press conference about the governor. No matter how you feel about what her plans may be, or I think the plans that were made before she became governor, to legalize apartments. And, again, no matter your position, who is he to talk about this? Don Clavin and that entire board, every town board meeting, I am pretty sure it's every town board meeting, passed resolutions for developers that are donors. In fact, Valerie Lamb had proposed something I have as well, to have these developers come forward before they get up to the microphone and let the board know and the public know if they are political donors, so that everybody knows why these, over developers are getting all of these, the work, and really looking to build on every inch of land. And I'm just really so sick of the finger pointing and the hypocrisy, especially of the local Republican Party.
So, Diane, I'll share with you and our audience what I saw when I was with you last week, and then please comment on it. But when we were there together, from my perspective, it was a very depressing place, the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. You've got a facility that has a capability of handling a lot more animals than they are handling right now. You've got a situation where you have animals who've been there for a long time, who should have found a home by now. You've got animals that are there, recent intakes that are ready to go and have not found a home, and even though they're ready to go. You've got a facility that looks like it's from the 1970s, and we've got some pictures to show in a few moments. And I have to share with everybody that I truly did not want to go last week because we were looking for content for this show. I wanted to go because I wanted just to see the facility. And then I spoke to Diane and said, we got to share this because it was that depressing. And I felt that that urge that we just have to share this as quick as possible. But you've got a facility where, there's staff around, but you're not really sure exactly what they're doing. And I'm sure some of them are very good. But you have outside kennels that no one's using, the animals aren't using. The dogs are not being walked at all. A pretty depressing place. And certainly if you're somebody who wants to visit an animal before you adopt, you're not going back there a second time. You're going there one time, maybe, if you're lucky, maybe, and then you're never going back. Wherever else you're going to go, another facility or, God forbid, a pet shop or whatever it is. That was my take on it. And what did you see, Diane?
Well, I saw, unfortunately, what I've been seeing recently, and that's the decline of and disappearance of not just programs that were beginning to flourish, but, again, the experts there. What you should be seeing in an animal shelter, you should be seeing volunteers, first of all, plenty of volunteers, and you should be seeing staff walking dogs, training dogs. That place should be the behavior hub of Long Island for nearly $5.5 million a year.
Right.
You should see the animals being promoted all over the shelter. You saw the television. In fact, there were two of them. One of them, sure, was donated by volunteers that is supposed to alternate pictures of the animals.
Diane, let me interrupt you for just a moment. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Mike, do you have those photos that we could share while Diane's talking?
I do. What Diane's talking about with the TV, I did see that they had the town of Hempstead screensaver just bouncing around like Pong on the screen. We don't have that picture, Ray, but I'll bring them up. This is you and Diane.
This is my bad hair picture, Diane. I look terrible. That's Diane and I, but something was going on with my hair. I think I was ready for the snow. But what else do we got there, Mike?
And then I saw this picture. I thought this was your bedroom at first, Ray. I wasn't.
No, but that is the cattery when you first walk in, right, Diane? And that should not be happening there, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, things happen in animal shelters by accident, but in this animal shelter, the policies and procedures, they're really not being followed. It all starts with the management and the leadership, and it's poor. It's really grossly mismanaged. I'll
just bring some up, Ray.
This is at about 2:00, I think, on a Friday, where you should be seeing again. Sure. Look at those boards. The boards are empty even.
The boards are empty. Yeah.
It looks like an abandoned hospital. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And what's really sad is that the animal shelter still has where you have to make an appointment to adopt an animal. So, all they're really doing, those are the taxpayer funded pens that are rarely used. I mean, they might be used in the morning when the staff are cleaning, but this facility should be very, very active. And, this is why many of the dogs, and since we went, Ray, I've been getting so many messages and private messages on Facebook and phone calls from people that saw it that either used to volunteer, currently volunteer, some staff. They're very upset about the conditions, and many of the volunteers left and just refused to come back in the same way that rescuers have severed their ties, because it's they go to some place that they are appreciated and the doors are swung open, and that is not the case at the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. It's just gone back to, I would say, worse than the years I rescued from the animal shelter.
I would say, Mike, that Diane and I were there for probably, I don't know, I'm just guesstimating, probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. And she called it because she said, no one's going to say a word to us. And the only time they came out is when they saw that we were walking around and, we were filming and stuff like that. But, nobody greeted us. Nobody said hello. Nobody said, what are you here for? Nobody cared.
Yeah.
Do we have some pictures, Mike, of the animals themselves?
Yeah. Let's get to the good parts, the cute animals. Okay. Here's looks like it's what kind of dog is that? I can't tell. Is that looks like a Rottweiler colors?
Yeah, the runny mix. It's very sad because, again, the fact that Don Clavin is using COVID as an excuse to keep people out is heartbreaking, because you want as many eyes, you want the public in and to feel engaged and involved in an animal shelter, because then they're more intrigued to say that, oh, you know what, I might not be able to adopt now, but I can foster. What animal can you match me up with? Basically, they are just hoarding animals at this point because so many of them have declined behaviorally. And what's really sad about that is eventually they bite, whether it's 2 years later, 3 years later. And then what they do is they use Tales of Hope money. They use donation money, where people donate money to benefit the animals. And then they pay outside behaviorists, real behaviorists, qualified behaviorists, to then determine that in most cases the dog has to be put to sleep. So they're basically rubber stamping the death of the dog, blaming the dog after 4 years of being denied the kind of outreach and advertising and expertise the dog needed. And then they use that money, donated money, to justify and pay for the people that say, yeah, the dog has to be put to sleep. It's just, completely out of control. And right now, it's going to be Elaine Phillips that the light will be shining on, because she's new in the county controller's office. And I've heard people have reached out to her, and we're waiting to hear where that operational audit is moving. And that's, one aspect of it. There's several lawsuits against the animal shelter. I believe that there are further lawsuits to be filed. I can't get into that, but I'm hearing some things. And, what is it going to take? Don Clavin, it's not like we are twisting his arm to fix the shelter. This is what he campaigned on. This is what, word for word, he promised to fix. He, said that the shelter has to come out of general services, no more commissioner. The director is asleep at the wheel, which I think he's a lot worse than asleep at the wheel. But, we need to change and fix the animal shelter. And he's only made it worse. And he's used COVID to do it.
Let me share with you, Mike, also some of the conversation Diane and I had. One of the things that Diane said, because she's very reasonable about all this, she said to me, she said, Ray, if this was a facility that had $500,000 a year budget, I would understand what we're seeing. That was one of her comments. But the fact is that the facility has 10 times that, $5.5 million budget. I mean, you'd expect to see all the activity that she outlined, but she said that I would understand. So the point being that even if you aren't an animal lover, if you're not a dog owner, a cat owner, or whatever, that even if you're about good governance, that you would appreciate the fact that, this is a wasteful bureaucracy that is punishing animals. But you don't have to be an animal lover to be an advocate for the shelter. Something else that we talked about was, if you want to help out and if you want to be, what should people do, Diane, if somebody wants to be proactive, aside from reaching out? I imagine you're going to say that we need to reach out to our local electeds, but how can somebody make a direct impact in the shelter? Should they be volunteering? What should they be doing exactly?
There's a number of things people can do. Certainly volunteering is tremendous because, you know, we want people to get their arms around these animals and love them and nurture them. But quite honestly, they really need to speak up. I mean, people should attend town board meetings and, you know, express their concerns. You know, look, the TNR program was completely, you know, destroyed under Clavin. And again, he used COVID. It took a lot of outreach and public awareness to get that program back to where it was. And it's not that the advocates aren't grateful. I'm thankful that he did that. That was the right thing to do. In fact, he's you know, also didn't go along with the director when the director tried to shut down those kennels permanently. The director of the animal shelter, Michael Pastori, and I have the document, with the help of, I believe he named the trainer and the assistant director, which is pretty appalling, that they felt that no one, even after COVID, no public member should be freely allowed to walk into those 3 kennels. So those kennels were bad enough knowing that the public goes in them. I can only imagine what would happen if they were shut. So again, you know, the ways to help are through advocacy, through hands-on, you know, volunteering, fostering, and getting active with communicating with the board. You know, the board, even though we have one Democrat, we really call it a completely Republican board. They have the power to change this in one board meeting. And, you know, they criticized Laura Gillen left and right. And, you know, they even, at the time Laura Gillen was the supervisor, the Republicans had assigned several high-ranking Republicans to help us to try to change things under Laura Gillen. She had stopped, you know, photographs in the shelter, and they were working with us, pretending apparently that they were going to do some great things if the Republicans won, and all they've done is damage. That is all they've done. Even with the TNR program, okay, we have it back, but we had it in the first place. It's not progress.
Yeah, real quick, Diane, Valerie is on the line. Valerie, are you with us?
Of course.
Okay.
Hey, Valerie, nice to hear from you. Thank you for joining us.
Hey guys, it's my pleasure. And Diane, thank you for the shout out. I love how you used my maiden name. So cute. So, you know, the reason I'm calling is because, and of course, when Diane is talking, it jolts me. But she mentioned the Tales of Hope Fund. Now, I want to be clear because this is a big deal. Okay, the town of Hempstead just recently, as of within the last 2 weeks, decided to start charging for something they have not been charging for years. And that is for FOIL documents. Now, for anyone who's not familiar, FOIL is an acronym. It stands for Freedom of Information Law. And it's something that every single one of us is entitled to. Okay. So it is used on massive levels. Lawyers use it, reporters use it, average laymen use it. And let's say, Ray, maybe you're interested in buying a property. You may want to FOIL the records, the surveys, the CO history of your property. Okay. For the animal shelter and for what us advocates use it for, FOIL has been an incredible tool, which has revealed a lot of problematic and mismanagement history at the shelter. Tales of Hope Fund is just one of them, a privately donated account where monies have been misappropriated as cited by audits to fund things it should not be funding and being commingled with other funds. The town is now trying to charge everyone 25 cents per piece of paper, which goes against, I've been foiling for 5 years. Diane has probably been foiling for, 100, like just kidding, but a long time. We haven't had to contend with this issue. And what kills me the most is that people like Don Clavin are always talking about transparency, and they're also boasting about the financial good status of the town. Why are they suddenly starting to charge for something they've never charged before? And if technology is always advancing us, like there's less and less need for paper. You know, you do all of your bill paying online. Most people are not writing out checks, stamped envelopes, etc. Like technology is bringing us forward and eliminating paper. They want us to pay now, which is going to discourage people from exercising their right to FOIL.
Absolutely. And you know what, Valerie, we are going to share at some point on the show in short order. We're going to talk about something that Felix has been sharing with us and some of the efforts that he has about how to improve government. But, you know, Mike, what you're seeing here is with the animal shelter is the intersection of bureaucracy, inefficiency, machine politics, and it all comes to bed right in this sort of perfect storm known as the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. That's really, you know, and this is just one department. You know, we keep the light shining on this department, but this is going on. I just got a private message from someone in another department in the town. This animal shelter is just an example. It's like the poster child. Unfortunately, you know, for the animals, that's the case, but no other town department has been under the light like this animal shelter for almost 2 decades now. And, you know, what Valerie said is true. And I just wanted to add that, or I should say Mrs. Heffron, that what makes that worse is that, according to Felix, it's illegal for them to charge us for these FOILs. They can charge for paper copies, but they can't charge for, emailing the
and we're gonna read his statement that he put forward for us tonight, and but I want to thank you, Diane. I want to thank you, Valerie. I saw firsthand how much this means to Diane, and her motives, her incentives are just for the right reasons, and I would invite. Not that I need to invite. You would think that the town board and the town supervisor would spend a little time at the shelter. I was there one time. I've only been there once. I don't want to misconstrue that I've been there a lot. I've been there one time, but I can't imagine how it had such an impact on me. Just one visit. What it would mean for somebody who's in power, somebody who's in government. You can't leave there without thinking about 10 things that you want to improve. And my guess is that I saw something, Diane, with the supervisor advertising some sort of propaganda with his dog. And I guess he's a pet owner. I'm sure he loves his dog. It makes me wonder why he doesn't love the dogs at the shelter and the animals there. And, it's just terrible. And but I thank you for everything you're doing, Diane. And it's always a pleasure to see you. And Valerie, thank you as well.
Thank you both. Thank you, Mike.
I'm so sorry. I just want to leave you with this one thought, because this is, and I'm sorry, I don't want to take too much time, but this is the reality, okay? Even if you're not an animal lover, even if you only love your dog, this is a $5.5 billion taxpayer-funded department. You have 26 departments. You don't get to ignore any department. Whether you're an animal lover or not.
We could do a whole show just on this, Ray. This is
we probably will. We probably should, and we probably will. So,
I have 20 more notes here, but I do want to close by not only thanking you both, Mike and Ray, but also just in the theme of what Valerie's talking about. Another thing that they took away was the ability for volunteers to input into the computer comments when they do come to visit, and they do see things good, bad, or otherwise with the animals. They do that to prevent the transparency in the same way they're charging for FOILs. They want to discourage. I've never seen an administration, I think it's worse than Santino's, that goes so far out of its way to hide the truth, to discourage the public, and to keep everything behind the curtain. And, this is the time we have to keep that curtain pulled back. So, being on the show and the work that you do has really been a tremendous help. So I thank you both for that. And
well, Diana, I'll say something. My council member where I live in Seaford is Chris Carini. And I know that he's got a little bit of a base in Seaford, but I would ask him to please share his opinions about the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter, assuming he's been there. And if he hasn't been there, I would suggest that he does go there. He won't respond to my comments directly, so perhaps someone known to him is watching the show. We're watching, council member. And if you don't choose to use your power the right way, we expect that the next person running against you is going to win and then use their powers. So, but I hope he does do his job and actually goes to the shelter and advocates for the animals and for all of us.
Well, look, Supervisor Clavin, wanted to start anew in the new year, and I've not really seen any evidence of that other than to give us what we had. We need new management at the shelter, we need experts, and we need to bring back caring volunteers.
Yep.
Okay.
Councilman Creedy, you have a 4-year term, and it's been 2 years, and the shelter is in your district. So if you are listening, or if your staff is listening, you are overdue to visit the shelter.
All right.
Thank you so much, Valerie. Thank you so much, Diane. Always a pleasure, and love you both. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Wow. Yeah. Right. That's the thing. That's the thing with the animal shelter. A few years ago, I don't want to. We have a lot to get to still.
Yeah,
but I had the same experience you had, where it was not very welcoming. It was cold, and I didn't want to go back.
Come on, it's fucking depressing. Let's use the right words. It's fucking depressing, and you go there, you don't want to go back. You feel depressed. You'd rather go to the pet shop and play with the animals in a different environment, knowing that the animals are probably not every pet shop, but it's not a perfect environment. But you'd rather go there. Listen, I hope we have Diane again often. She is a tremendous advocate. Valerie as well, for the animals, and it's a true pleasure and true honor to have them as regular guests on our show and friends, and fully supportive of all the work they do. So
yeah. So Ray, I wanted to switch gears real quick. Let's
Yep.
let's bring on. She's been in the waiting room for a while.
I know. She's our Long Islander of the week, right?
She's our Long Islander of the week. Theresa, hello.
Hello, Michael and Ray. How are you?
Hi,
Good.
Theresa. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
We're a work in progress, so we're trying to figure out time management. So thank you for being so patient in the back.
Much better. I apologize. I could not join you last week. I had a double sty infection in my left eye. As a matter of fact, I'm going back to the eye doctor tomorrow, but I was not a happy camper. It was like every time I closed my eye, it felt like someone was touching a black and blue. I was irritable. I wasn't happy. And because Michael said, we could just do audio if you're not camera ready. Like, I don't want to do anything. I was just not happy.
Yeah, you weren't feeling that hot, huh?
I wasn't. And thank God for makeup, because I actually sent a couple of pictures to Michael. I had to turn, Ray, a negative into a positive. And because I have a comedic background, I said, what can I do? What can I do? Look at me. I look like I just got out of a boxing ring. So I went downstairs and I grabbed my boxing gloves and took a picture of me in this boxing stance. And I put on Facebook the movie Bruised 2 with Halle Berry. And everyone was like congratulating me for this part in this movie with Halle Berry. And they're like, oh my God, congratulations. We knew you're going to make it. You're skyrocketing to the top. And they were, and I was like, finally, my friend Ray said, this is a joke, right? And I'm like, I'm so glad you're the only one who got it.
Here's a secret. Just keep saying, thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Theresa, we're so honored to have you as a regular contributor now go to our show, but we want to share with people. You are
the editor, entertainment reporter for you.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. But you're such an interesting person, which is why we're also making you Long Islander of the Week in our show. So tell us a little bit about you, Theresa. Who are you, and what can we know?
Oh boy, you need a lot more time on the show, but let's see if I can make a quick synopsis. That's not really in my repertoire. I'm Italian. We love to talk. I'm originally from Bayside, Queens. I grew up in Queens, hence a little bit of the Fran Drescher accent. And my mom put me on stage when I was 4 years old in dancing school at Robert Mann Dancing School in Bayside. And my first rejection in the biz actually was the producers of The Godfather came into my dance studio and they were looking for little kids to run around in the wedding scene. And they picked my girlfriend Grace and her brother and sister. They're Italian. They picked Joey and Lisa Toy, who were half Italian, half Asian, but they looked Italian. And they picked Jimmy Ganaris, who's Greek, to play Pacino's son, Michael. And they didn't pick me. And I wasn't that shy back then either and had a big mouth. And I said, what about me? And they said, well, sorry, little girl, you don't look Italian, because my hair was very light when I was young. I have the blue eyes. And I'm like, but I'm 100% Sicilian. And they're like, no, we're sorry, we can't use you. And I went crying home to my mother. And I was like, everyone's going to be in the movie but me.
Well, you know what, Theresa? I heard that movie stunk and people didn't.
Yeah, it was a bomb. Big flop.
It was a big flop.
And then just from there, I always loved to volunteer and help out my community. So I actually was a auxiliary police officer at the 111 precinct in Bayside.
Oh.
Yeah, I always like to be involved in community. And then was married the first time. Well, then I went into theater. I was always involved in community theater. Got married, moved from Queens to Lynbrook originally. Then I moved to Franklin Square, divorced, separated, moved back to Queens. And now I'm living in Wantagh, and I've come close to dying 5 times in my life, including next month. It'll be 8 years. I had a brain tumor and I had to have brain surgery. So I just thank God for every day, how blessed I am. And 7 years ago, Bob Nelson, who very famous comic, worked a lot with Ronnie Dangerfield, was looking for comics to do improv, and I got to work with him for 4 weeks. So thanks to Bob, he got me back into the comedy. And then I said, I really, really want to focus on the acting, and thank God things are starting to come my way, and I just hope they keep snowballing.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit, but the way that I met Theresa was through
Pepe.
I guess you're right through Pepe, and she was a student of one of our other friends. So a whole bunch of things. So you have anything in the works right now, Theresa?
I do. I'm really excited. I have a few things in the works. I just did it's a series called Tales from the Dark with Joe Simonelli, and we filmed in Lynbrook, and it's kind of like almost like a Twilight Zone kind of thing. I have it on my page. I'll share it with you, Michael. It's 20 minutes. And I play the wife and the mom of like 6 kids or something. Well, we were all sitting around the table. But what's really cool about it is that there's no script. It's all improv. Yeah. And I love it. Actually, flying by the seat of your pants is great.
Mike auditioned for that role also.
Actually, I don't know if you know, I met Joe years and years ago. He made a film. He filmed it right here in Wantagh. There was a part right by the cemetery on Wantagh Avenue. Yeah. He came to my company, and we actually made the Blu-ray discs for him.
That's so cool.
We did all that mastering for him.
Such a small world. And then at the end of the month, God willing, at the end of this month, I'm supposed to be in Philly filming a TV sitcom called Recipes of Love. And I'm very excited about that. I'm supposed to be there maybe the end of February, beginning of March. I'm also in Bat Boy, which is an off-Broadway traveling show called Bat Boy, A Yankee Miracle, based on the true story of Ray Negron. And I love doing that because I play dual roles. In the first half, I put on a really dark wig and I play his Puerto Rican Aunt Olga. And then I leave everyone crying, unfortunately. I find my son shot dead, and it's a very dramatic and traumatic scene. And my girlfriend Grace came to see me, and she's like, I was looking around the audience, and there were some people that were crying, and I'm like, good, because I want their heart to break with mine. And then in the second half, I put on a blonde wig, boobs are out, very ditzy, and I play the marshmallow salesman's girlfriend who punched out Billy Martin, and that's when I think he got fired for like the 3rd time. So. And then friends of mine are doing a bunch of projects. Some of them are in the spring. I'm also in something called It's Love Bro, and I play the mom. And we're going to be hopefully filming that in May. Things, well, a lot of things got delayed because of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Teresa, it's an honor to have you as part of our show now, and you are
excited.
a one-rounder of the week. And
we made a cheesy graphic for you. You don't win anything, right? Right? Do I dumb?
Funny.
Well, Mike won this, and having lost the bet. I don't know if you want one of these, Teresa, but there's Mike's crush.
Oh, nice.
Let me blow that up real quick. There he is.
Oh my God, Mike, what are you doing? Right from your phone. Right from your phone. Wow.
Yes, is as big as his.
Mine. Well, no. I don't think so. But Theresa, real quick, we wanted to tell you also, we're going to be working on some upcoming events that we're going to be doing from a remote place, Ray. I don't know. Can we really talk about that yet?
Well, we should probably button it down first, but we're going to be doing something in Wantagh, actually, and looking forward to doing it. Some live remote work with music and
comedy.
Comedy, seeing people in person, right? I haven't seen Mike in person in a long time, Mike.
It's been a while. You still didn't come get your shirts yet. Right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you the
name of the show, and he still didn't.
You give me the shirt. We're gonna trade. So.
Wow.
But anyway, Theresa, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for your patience.
And I'm, looking forward to being part of this and bringing you some entertainment news.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
We have we get a lot of views, and people like us for some reason. We don't know why. Yeah, but but thanks again, Theresa, and we'll see you, and we'll keep you posted. Next week we'll talk to you next week.
I have my show too on Monday nights. I have to.
Oh, yeah. Let's give a plug to Theresa's show.
Monday nights,
live on Facebook and YouTube through Strong Island Television. I've been doing my show for almost 4 years now, and I interview people in the entertainment industry, and it's also on every Saturday at 11 a.m. on Channel 20 for people on Long Island who get Optimum.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Theresa.
And it still doesn't pop up for me, so I don't see when you go live. I have to actually click it to watch it. I don't know.
I don't know. Have a great night. Thanks for having me on.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's Long Islander of the Week. We get to use the cheesy logo, and it's all good. Now we're waiting for Andrew. I think I have to text Andrew back because Andrew was going to pop.
Mike, while we're waiting for Andrew, let me read. Oh, he's here? Okay.
Yeah. Andrew, let's bring Andrew in real quick. Andrew.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Actually, I'm in my hotel room again.
I was just going to say, are you traveling? Because that looks like a hotel ceiling.
Yeah, I'm traveling from. I'm reporting again from the lovely Philadelphia city of brotherly love. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, work.
So, Andrew, you sent me a couple pictures. I just put them up. But real quick, you called in last week, right? Right?
Yeah. I called and I was able to. I for some reason I couldn't figure out the Wi-Fi last week, so that's why I called in to you. I called on the number.
Andrew's a very interesting guy. He's got a lot of things cooking. I mean, literally, he's got a lot of things cooking and just got a lot of interest and stuff. And it's a pleasure to have you be part of the show now, Andrew. So thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, no, I appreciate being on a team here. For some tough act to follows. I'm definitely going to call on your friend about my property taxes. I'm definitely looking to rescue a puppy and.
So you're gonna grieve your taxes, then you're gonna sell your house, and you're gonna adopt a puppy, and you checked all the boxes, and watch Theresa in a new movie.
Exactly. Maybe Mike and I could be extras. We could be twins or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I played a cop in this TV pilot last year. I was like, I had a few extra COVID pounds on, so I didn't really like my profile. But hey, it's all right. There's some chubby cops.
That's okay. Exactly.
Yeah, it's all right.
You're the fun cop. That's what
Andrew, I can see being a cop. Yeah, I can see Mike being a cop. I can see he's got the look. He's got a kind of.
That's like our show, Ray. Good cop, bad cop, sort of.
Oh, yeah. Guess one's the bad cop. Guess which one.
Yeah, but Andrew does a show. He does a podcast called Field to the Fork. That's on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I don't know. You're big on Instagram, Andrew, right? You have a big following on Instagram, and you pretty much it's a fun bunch of guys, and it's they laugh pretty much the whole hour and a half they do the show.
We are a quirky bunch, yeah. We like to definitely abuse each other, break each other's shoes in a polite way, but it's all about having fun at the end of the day. It's having camaraderie with the people that you're with the most, and at the end of the day, it's no matter how stressful the day was, if you're left or right, you got to sit down, you got to eat a good meal. So you might as well be with good company and enjoy yourself. So that's our main focus on what we do. As well as getting out into the outdoors. Mike, I had sent you some pictures, so those were some recipes.
Yeah, this one you sent me the other day. This stuff looks really good. Is that a bison burger up there, Andrew?
Those are, yeah. So you got the blue dish is a bison burger. In the green dish, that wrap, that's another bison burger, and the orange dish, just on top of the little pizza right there, that's another bison burger. So we did bison burger 3 ways. I don't know if you guys are aware of there's a bison farm out on Long Island.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
So if you want to go out to it's just as soon as you get to like Riverhead, it's right on it's left of Route 25 over there. There's a little bison stuff like that.
If my wife is watching, we're gonna go to the bison farm in the spring.
I tell you, it's pretty interesting. There's a nice herd of bison on Long Island. They sell to a few select places. They only wholesale to their private customers. So I was able to. I think I went to Wild by Nature, and that's where I picked up the bison that I got in the picture you see. And we did a show with the doc and I. We did a show, and I did bison burger 3 ways. I made it with rice with brown gravy. That's the one in the orange dish. We made a traditional burger in the blue dish, and we don't put ketchup on our burgers. I make like real funky, spicy jellies. So that was a raspberry and jalapeno jelly we had put on that, and then we did the one in the wrap was just a regular cheeseburger in you get some onions, some pickles, and stuff like that, and I put it in the spinach wrap and just to give it a little healthier. But bison is high in omega-3s. It's got a lot of B12.
Wow.
No cholesterol. So you want to have a piece of red meat, it's good. And who knew in your own backyard that there was a bison?
I never knew that at all. I knew about Ted Turner and bison burgers. I know he has a big farm out in
Montana.
in the West. Yeah, Montana, right. But I didn't know that there was one on Long Island. So
it's cool to watch them. Watch them run around, stuff like that. Pretty big animal. You can pull up. So you pull up and they're probably like on the left side of the fence right there. The fence is massive, and it's a pretty, strong fence to keep that animal in, but you can get next to them, like take a picture and it's, they're big animals. They're pretty impressive.
Yeah. I know this one bison, she lives in Sheepshead Bay, but it's another story.
Oh, this is, I got to put my finger on the mute button soon.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I had paired them with local wine. We got some red wine and some white wine from Pindar, which is out on the North Fork and stuff like that. So we tried to keep the show local. We did a Valentine's Day show, so it'll be up on my YouTube channel probably in another week or so, stuff like that. So I'll send you the link.
Nice.
Put out. We did a couple pizzas and stuff, and we made some healthy desserts, little banana pancakes and stuff like that. So we had some fun.
And listen, I sensed it the first time we were on the phone together, Andrew. Just an interesting guy. You're an interesting guy with a lot of varied interests and stuff. And
thank you.
Really looking forward. We talk about how beautiful Long Island is and stuff, and it's easy to appreciate Long Island in the spring, the summer, maybe even a little bit of the fall. But Long Island is pretty year round if you're willing to get outdoors, and maybe you'll inspire some of us to get off our asses on the sofa and to try to experience Long Island year round.
Yeah, I definitely worthwhile getting out there and exploring, in your own backyard.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Ray, I spoke to Mike earlier in the week, and I told him that I'm going to be gentle with you two gentlemen, but I'm going to plan us a camping trip.
Oh yeah,
for like early April, where it's not that cold, it's not that warm. I know you said you were pretty interested in all this cold weather camping. So
yeah, it sounded better a week ago. Now that we're closer to this trip, it's a little bit.
No, there are bathrooms though. Andrew said there are bathrooms. So
yeah, I'll be gentle.
You're making me want to zipper up my jacket. I'm not even outside. No, let's do it. Let's do it, guys.
I guarantee you'll eat well. Definitely have a good time. And this way, we can either do we'll take some videos. We could put them up on a show of you guys' experience. If you guys never been camping, I'd like to take you out there. We'll break in nice and easy.
Yeah,
I'll bring the booze.
Yeah, Ray has some high-tech satellite thing now where, we have a hotspot, right? Wherever we are, something like that.
Yeah, I can even broadcast from the red light district, which is where I am right now. So listen, thank you so much, Andrew. Looking forward to that trip, but more importantly, looking forward to having you part of the show all the time. So thank you so much.
Mike, did you put there was the last picture I sent you. There was a bunch of raviolis that I put up there.
I didn't see raviolis. Wait, you emailed them to me?
I emailed it to you. It was their barbecue.
I don't see raviolis. I see no raviolis. It was just the green wrap. And when did you email it, Andrew?
I emailed it maybe about 20 minutes ago.
I don't see that one.
All
oh,
right.
I do.
We're gonna bring my buddy Frank with us when we go camping. He'll have a good time with us.
Yeah.
I will talk about it off air, but that'll be fun.
Definitely.
And let me just bring this one up real quick. I just saw them now. So, all right, let's see. Kill some time here, Ray, while I get these up. These look really good, actually.
If you've already had dinner, everybody, go back to the fridge and get some more. It's all right. It's February. Oh my God.
This is what happens when you're stuck in a house on a snow day.
Look at this.
Very good.
And we have this next one coming here.
That's the other bison burger with a little brown gravy.
That's all I have. I don't have a ravioli. Oh, I do have raviolis. Oh, this looks really good too.
Why?
All right, let's bring this one in too. I'm getting hungry, and I ate dinner. So that's not good. Let's see. All right, and we got. Come on.
There you go.
Nice. What's on top of that?
So those are meat raviolis. I did them with venison. I made a meat mixture, and then I wrapped them in bacon. Actually, I boiled them, I cooked them, and then I dried them up. I wrapped them in bacon, and I glazed them with barbecue sauce, and I put a little dry rub on them, and I put them on a smoker for about 2.5 hours at 225.
Wow.
That was the final product. So
yeah.
It's going to be one of the probably one of the halftime or one of my Super Bowl things that we're going to be making, and I'll get post out. You don't have to make with venison. You can make any meat ravioli you want, but that's what happens when you're bored in the kitchen.
Yeah, and Saturday during that snow, Andrew texted me he was digging a path out to the smoker. So Andrew was getting to the smoker. Since you brought up football real quick, Andrew, who is your pick for the Super Bowl? I know we have another week, but
the Bengals.
Bengals.
I like it. Okay. All right. Okay. I can see it. I mean,
right.
Yeah, exactly.
After everything, why not? Why not?
Yeah. Listen, great seeing you, Andrew. Thank you so much, and really looking forward to your segments and see you on that camping trip. We're gonna have fun.
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna leave the Procacci Mountain VHS home. We're not bringing that.
We'll leave Mike
home. Andrew. So
he's a fun guy. He's an interesting guy.
He is. See what happens when the show goes too long, Ray? We get a little silly, I think.
Let me tell you, we're really grateful to have Theresa and Andrew be part of the show as we broaden out and stuff and do some other things. But a couple of quick things before we go. I wanted to read, first of all, just a quick shout out. Happy birthday, Kevin McKenna, our friend Kevin.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, happy birthday to Kevin. They have a meeting on February 7th for Hicksville at the community center. And it's next Monday, this coming Monday. And anybody who we've talked about it any number of times, anybody who's got any kind of a vested interest in Hicksville should be there. Whether you are a resident, a business owner, a politician, or a wannabe politician, you should be attending that meeting and have your speaker piece. So February 7th. Thank you to Kevin. Thank you to Lorraine, who's organizing that meeting. And we hope to have them both on the show next week to talk about the meeting itself. What else? Felix. Okay, so our friend Felix Procacci, who's been very, very active for years and years and years when it comes to good governance. We're happy to have him be part of the show where even when he's not appearing, he's sharing information that he's working on and projects that he's working on with us. And we're very grateful to have him be part of it. We're hoping to do a series with Felix where we talk about different approach to good governance and so forth. Let me just bear with me for a second, Mike, because.
Okay. And while you look for that, Ray, I just want to thank everybody too, all our new followers and members of our group, and everyone for joining. We're on Instagram, we're on the Facebook. Just look the Long Island Show at the Long Island Show or the Long Island Show group or page. We should be all over the place. So it's all yours.
Yeah, of course. That also means that I assume I know what I'm doing. Hold on one sec, Michael.
Okay.
Nothing like little technology issues, right? We got all this stuff going on, and it's like, okay. Touching upon while we're just pulling it up, Valerie touched on something that Felix was working on, which is, how government, the FOIL process, and how government can either help or hurt the FOIL process. Just bear with me for a second, Mike.
Yeah, I have nothing else to do. You're fine.
So Valerie was talking about how they're charging now for FOILs, and they're doing it almost as a way of preventing releasing information, because they're charging people money now when they shouldn't have to be. People shouldn't have to be paying for that. But let's bring up Felix's statement. Too many monitors, too many things going on one computer.
Are you trying to bring up the actual document, or?
Yeah, do you have it?
Yeah, I'm sure I could find it. Let me just.
Well, it's like I had it on the entire time. And the one time you need it,
Something was sharing. You have something sharing down there. It looks like the email, but let me just. I'll open it quick. All right. Just find it quick.
Sometimes it's like when I have a piece of paper. It's terrible to say because you want to not print as much because of the environment and stuff, and then you have things like this where you look for something, you have it, and you just fuck it up. All right, hold on. When in doubt, go to your cell phone, right? Jesus.
Yeah, now mine's it's for some reason it wants to configure Office right now. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna get it from my cell phone because. All right. So Felix is talking about how to improve local government, and step one is to strengthen and enforce transparency laws. And obviously, the reason why we're sharing this is because we concur, we agree, and we want to try to get more people involved and help Felix in his efforts and help all of us. So one of the things that he talks about is that New York's Freedom of Information laws provide residents with the legal right to expect a certain level of transparency from their local governments. Recently, the open meetings law was improved by requiring documents to be discussed at open meetings to be made available at least 24 hours prior to each meeting. Prior to this legislation, the open meetings law required that these documents to be posted on the agency's website if they had one, a reasonable time prior to the meeting. This requirement was enacted in 2012. One of the problems with the earlier version is it would be up to a court to decide what a reasonable time is if an agency failed to comply and someone contested the legitimacy of the hearing. In spite of the improvement of the open meetings law, a major flaw still exists, and that is that it requires a resident to pursue litigation if the violating agency refuses to comply. Since hiring an attorney costs hundreds of dollars per hour, this cost prevents most residents from pursuing litigation, essentially allowing the agency to decide if it wants to comply with the open meetings and freedom of information laws. What further complicates the enforcement of these laws is the nature of the court system. Even if you're willing to pursue litigation to enforce these transparency laws, litigation very often and for no good reason takes a long time. Last year, I, meaning Felix, decided to sue the town of Hempstead for failing to comply with a records request I made regarding the spending of federal COVID-19 relief funds received by town. For those who wish to read my cast, it's Nassau Supreme Court. I think he meant case. It's Nassau Supreme Court case 607099-2021. Let me just skip ahead a little bit. Shortly after I filed my litigation, the town provided a portion of these records I requested. These records show that the town also violated open meetings law because the resolutions did not adequately describe the actual spending. And despite the irrefutable evidence I presented in my court papers showing that the town intentionally violated the Freedom of Information and open meetings law, The court has granted the town's request to delay their response to my lawsuit and records requested. So basically what Felix is saying here is that the onus is on residents to enforce the laws that are on the books right now to force the government to release information. But you as a private citizen have to take it upon yourself to do that. And that is what is really unfortunate with government right now. And to Valerie's point, they're charging a cost, whether it be 25 cents a page or whatever it might be, in order for people to get the information that they require. And they're using this as a way of being opaque. They're using this as a way of not releasing information. Mm-hmm. So this is what Felix is talking about. And his last paragraph is, to strengthen the freedom of information in open meetings, officials that willfully violate the law should also be punished just like any resident that violates the law. Also, a resident that should not have to file a lawsuit to complain about violations of these laws. Making residents go through the financial burden of hiring an attorney when the public agencies violate the law gives agencies a green light to violate the law anytime it is in their interest to do so. There should be an independent state agency that processes complaints regarding the freedom of information and open meetings laws. All complaints made to this agency shall be made public along with its rulings to ensure real transparency. So once again, what Felix is saying is that the burden should not be on residents to enforce laws that are already on the books as it relates to freedom of information.
Yeah, right. The second to last sentence that he had, I'm reading it along with you. There should be an independent state agency that processes complaints regarding the freedom of information and open meetings law. Who does that right now? Who's in charge of that?
I believe what Felix is saying is that in the first paragraph of what he was saying is that the only way these laws get enforced is if somebody a private citizen were to sue. And that is cost prohibitive because you have to use an attorney and or your own time. You don't have a method to do it. So I may have
when you sue though, then it's up to the courts to make that decision.
Yeah, the courts have to, and the government is obviously the defendant in that case.
Right.
And they're kind of violating the spirit of the law by making people pay money and incur these costs in order to release information. Well, I mean, let's call it what it is. They don't want to do it, right? So when someone charges Valerie $1.25 to release information for 5 sheets of paper, what they're really saying is, mail us the check, and that gives us a little bit of time, and you're never going to mail the check probably, and therefore we're never going to do the work that we're required to do. That's what the calculation is. So hopefully we'll do this as an ongoing series, and hopefully I'll read his correspondence a little better than I did tonight. But it's an honor to call Felix a friend, and really supportive of everything he's doing in town of Hempstead, Nassau County, and he's just he's like Diane and other people we know who are just very active, Valerie, Kevin, so forth, who are very active in good governance issues.
Yeah, well said. That was good. That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
You're right. You read the whole thing.
Last thing, Mike. Last thing before we go. We're gonna go. Yes. Last thing before we go. Rant of the week, I guess. It's not really the rant of the week. It's going to be more of the battle of the week, right? Real quick.
Yes. Where is my? Yeah. So, that's great, Ray. That matches that. Where'd you get that? I've lost mine.
You think I put no effort into the show? I just do it behind the scenes. Listen,
do they have that at a rest stop somewhere along the highway?
I travel a lot now, so I find all kinds of fun things to do.
That's great. But Ray, you brought up the battle. It's not more or less a battle, but I just want to bring this graphic up here. Okay, so this is pretty much what you want to talk about, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to close with just really 2 quick minutes on this. This is the redistricting of the congressional districts for Long Island, and because the bipartisan Republican Democrats commission could not come to an agreement, it falls on the Democrats through the legislature to come up with new districts, and that applies to the congressional districts as well as the legislative districts. Now, the legislative districts just came out yesterday. I haven't really studied it. From what I understand, they're not that many changes, But the congressional districts got my attention because if you look at this map, this is the new districts that are now part of law. So CD1 goes from Montauk all the way, I think that's Plainview, I'm not sure, maybe it goes even further west. CD2, where I am, goes a little bit further east now, that's the yellow. But let's talk about the blue, which is on top, which is CD3. So now you go from, I think it's East Northport, all the way to, and get this, everybody, Rye, New York. So that district now covers Suffolk County, Nassau County, Queens, the Bronx, and Westchester. And I've had some conversations with fellow Democrats who basically tell me that I'm an idiot for not going along with this and thinking this is a great idea. But I think it's terrible. I think it's just, it defies logic. And they're calling it the Long Island Sound District because it hugs the Long Island Sound. Come on. I mean, I could draw a circle and, call it the Donut District if I wanted to. It makes no sense. People from East Northport have different concerns and different needs than people in the Bronx. Okay. And that's not saying that East Northport is better or worse than the Bronx. It's different needs. And Long Island is Long Island, and Long Island is not part of New York City. We're affiliated with New York City, but we're not New York City. I think that the goal here was to preserve democratic control for a long time, and this map probably does it. But if it's a good thing, no, absolutely not. I think the goal should be to fix the districts in such a way where, we're close to 50-50 Republican, Democrat. And if you believe in the Democratic Party, you believe we have better ideas and that the ideas can win over the independents and maybe even some Republicans. So, if you're trying to gerrymander, congratulations, Democrats, you did a great job. If you're about good governance, I think you did a terrible job. There's no way a Congress member, and we had Rima on last week. It could be Rima. It could be any number of people who are running for that seat. There's no way that anybody can service that district. It's not possible. And it's very unfortunate. And, again, I've heard from my friends in the Democratic Party who've told me once again that I'm wrong and once again I'm an idiot. But I hate this. And I hate it in Texas as well when the Republicans do it. But I live in New York and I live in Long Island. And this map doesn't do it for me.
Well, Ray, does it go? Is it about population though? Numbers? Because
no, it's about. I was on a great call yesterday where they talked about this and they explained this. What it's about is preserving whatever party's in control wants to preserve their own majority. Right. So they talk about the percentage of people who voted for Biden versus Trump, and they gave the yellow district where you and I both live to the Republicans as kind of like a kind of a nod. Here you go. They throw them a bone, right? But the rest of it, how the hell are you going to service that purple district? I mean, look at that.
That's right. That's 100 from where I am to just Riverhead is 50 miles. That has to be a good 120 mile strip right there.
Something. I mean, you're covering. You're going to go one day. You're going to go in Southold, and then you're going to go to what? Is that like Merrick? I mean, it looks like almost.
It looks like it. Yeah. Wow.
It makes no sense, And again, I know the arguments. I know what they're going to say. They're going to say we have to counteract all the nonsense that happens in Texas and other red states, And I just think that we can win. Democrats can win on the strength of our ideas. That we don't have to play these games. But I'll tell you one thing right now: if you support this map, you have lost any ability to ever criticize the Republicans for doing the same exact thing. You're playing the same exact game, and all I'm saying is, elevate the game. If I want to beat you, Mike, I'm going to beat you fair and square. Right. I'm going to beat you on the strength of my ideas.
Right. I know district. You flip them on ideas, not I hate to use the word rigged, but that's exactly why there's so much anger out there. And you said the Republicans do it too, and it's wrong. It's wrong either way. But
the rigged is the right word. I mean, the Democratic Party, I've been saying this on any number of reads for open primaries and all kinds of things. The Democratic Party should be about fairness in elections. We should own that issue, and we should use the nonsense that happened last year with the former president and that insurrection, and say, you know what, we're going to be above this. We shouldn't be playing this game. I mean, we didn't even show. We're talking about Long Island. If you look at some of the Manhattan districts, it's crazy. They go from Manhattan, from the Upper West Side down to Coney Island. I mean, but it carves it out in such a way that it's just ridiculous. So, when something is right, they're right, and when someone's wrong, I think you have to call it out. So Republicans who are angry by this map should be angry. I think they're right. I think they're right. And when they do it, I think they're wrong as well. This sucks.
Yeah. See, Ray, I wouldn't say angry. I would just say that it just goes to show that you could rig an election before an election, either party. It goes both ways. So they're stacking the deck, and you bring in, it's like bringing in ringers. There's so many ways that you can look at it. If it was your team, though, you would be like, yeah, I want all the heavy hitters on my team. I want the best pitching. I want the best of this, and they're doing it. So
listen, I'm a Democrat. I should be happy, right? But for some reason, the first thing I saw when I said this is I literally said, "What the fuck?" That's exactly what I said. And I've been saying it ever since, and pretty much everybody who I've spoken to, so including you. So, at some point I'll shut up. But that CD3 and CD1, I mean, just look at the map. Try explaining that to your kids. Try explaining how one congressperson can serve as CD1 or CD3.
Yeah, you know what, though, right? I don't see CD3 as a deadlock for them. I mean, you have some districts out there that are red.
The problem that Democrats are making with this map is the calculation that if you are once a Democrat, you're always a Democrat.
Right.
I'll tell you right now, if someone's running, this map now allows for somebody from New York City to run for that district. And if you're going to get a certain type of person, and by that I mean a certain level of progressive, who doesn't maybe fit the Long Island profile, you're going to have Democrats and independents voting for the Republican.
Right.
Because they're angry, So, I think Democrats miscalculated. They may strengthen their hand this election, but and it may be for a couple elections. But is this a surefire long-term win? I think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
I live in Seaford. I have a lot more in common with people in CD1 now than I do with people out east. I mean, I'm looking at this map, and anyone can draw a map different ways. No two people are going to draw it the same way. But the goal should be 50-50.
Right.
And I think when you have 50% Democrat, 50% Republican, we're going to win. Democrats are going to win because we're the only party that has ideas. I would love to have a debate with Republicans. I'd love to go to a Republican meeting and have a debate. All I have to say is tell me your idea about healthcare. And I watch the entire room shut the fuck up.
Yeah. See, that's the thing.
There's no Republican idea on healthcare.
Yeah.
They hate Obamacare, but they've got nothing else.
Right. Well, they want to, erase the state lines. Let's
do it. Turn. It's the same thing we talked about 2 weeks ago. Turn 75 and have health issues,
exactly.
And tell me how quickly you become a Democrat.
Right. But with this map, and that's something that Andrew brought up before. How could someone in Merrick have the same thing in common with a bison farmer out in wherever the hell he was?
Zero.
Yeah, zero. So zero. I don't know, Ray.
Anyway, so that's a long show tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and thanks, Mike, for producing and doing everything you do behind the scenes to make it all possible. But hope we gave people a lot of content tonight, and we'll keep it rolling next week and beyond.
Yes. All right, Ray. Thanks again to everyone for joining, all the new members and the followers and everything. Happy birthday again to Kevin. I had a little note because I wanted to make sure I said it. Good night to The Rock. Good night to Ray. Ray with the surprises tonight. Ray brought it. He really brought it. So good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Ray.